So Flamenco, or Danny as we call him at home, because he arrived in every horse in this place as a human name. Bushman was George, Art of Highlight was Ben. So Danny the Dun came into the yard as a 6-year-old. And I had David Bogossian runs an event called Ballinamona. And the first time I went to Ballinamona, I was so impressed. You know, he built such lovely fences. The estate looked absolutely gorgeous. So I said, I must find the owner of this place and say thank you so much for putting on this great event. So I did that with my usual enthusiasm. And that obviously had a lasting impression on David, because he picked up the phone about a year later and said, you know, I appreciated when you said thank you, and then I've seen you riding and I'd quite like you to ride my horse. So he was 6 at the time, and plan A was to get him to Le Lion d'Angers, the World Championships, World Breeding Championships, as a 7-year-old the following year. And he's the first on horse I rode, and you think overgrown pony when you see him. And in many ways he's like a pony. He's a saint. In one, you know, he keeps trying for you. He's got the heart of a lion. He's got a huge amount of intelligence and a bit of a stubborn streak as well, like any kind of pony. He sees grass and he's off. Good luck trying to hold on to him. But we thought maybe that 3-star level would be the limit. And then we said, oh sure, well maybe we'll try the 8 and 9-year-old classes in Blenheim the year after Le Lion. And we've been quite open. He's always been on the market every winter. He's been on the market. So after Le Lion, after doing the Blenheim 8 and 9-year-olds, he had a brilliant 10-year-old season. Well, actually, I think he was only 9, where he did Tattersall's long format 4-star, and he finished on his dressage score, and he went and backed that up in Buccalo, again another long format 4-star, and finished on his dressage score again. And you know, he's always had impressive movement, and we said once this horse can make the time and come out and jump clear on the last day, this is a real event horse. And we went on, we did the 5-star at Le Moulin, and I knew then he'd be my choice for the European Championships in 2019. And now with the flat work coming together and being able to put that impressive athlete that he is in the ring and kind of execute all those moves, I think he's got a huge chance of doing something pretty special. I really do. I really believe in him. I see a little bit of myself in him, in that I don't think anyone, when they first looked at him, thought Olympic Games. And I know that for myself, that when I first went to championships, people thought, even the people who were in my corner, I would say, you know, aside from my family, they have ridiculous belief in me that they shouldn't have, but they do, and that's important too. But I think people would have always thought, you know, Sam won't last. I mean, I never had style, but I think I wanted to work it out, and I persevere and I keep trying. And I think Flamenco's the exact same, except I think he's got more natural ability. I think now more than ever, particularly the technicality of the cross-country courses, knowing every split second, if you turn a half second too early on some of those lines, you just create an impossible angle, because they're so acute as they are anyway. You try and turn a split second too late and the fence has gone away from you and the line is gone. And that's what I did at the 2019 European Championships. I tried to be clever, I tried to give myself more time. It wasn't there, I didn't even present him to the fence. You know, the horse was impeccable. And I should have trusted, you know, I knew at the time that he was on song, he was A1 and he would have jumped the fence. And I should have done that. But now, even in my cross-country schooling, I mean, I was out on him this morning doing some real technical lines, and whatever sport you're watching, you know, they say it a lot in tennis and football, they say that, you know, the top combinations, they have time, they look like they have time. And, you know, I look at some of the lines that we build, and when I'm riding them, I keep thinking to myself, this should not feel this easy. I should not feel like I have this much time or this much space, or be able to micromanage the stride length, where the shoulder is. But that's all familiarity. You know, that is because, you know, at this stage, sitting on Flamenco is like driving a car I've had for many years. You know, it's almost autopilot. And you need that. That's what gives you that time for those really technical fences. He's got to jump the fences, he's got to understand the movements, he's got to perform to his best, and it's my job to help him to do that. Yeah, well, he's a big horse, and he's overall got quite a good temperament. So he eats a lot. He's got a pretty, he needs volume and quality. With all the different horses, sometimes they don't need a huge amount of actual energy. If we think of it in terms of calories, they might not need a huge amount in that terms, but they still need all their nutrients to keep them topped up. Flamenco, we can give him both. I always work with, I love the horse care range. It's something I have traditionally had a lot of very excitable hot horses, and the horse care range is great for that. But he will have, he'll be having a higher ratio of horse care to competition mix in the lead up to his dressage. And then we will just get some of that. We'll use some of our supplements as well, like pre-fuel, before he goes cross country. But in that before you go cross country that you're going for a higher intensity, quicker release feed. He broke my career PB finishing score this spring, and that's when he really jumped to the top of the pack. But what a string of horses we had, and I'm really fortunate to be setting sail now across the world with Flamenco.